Namaste, everyone, and welcome. Let's just jump right into this. Today, we're diving into an explainer that breaks down two absolutely monumental scientific breakthroughs in the global fight against HIV. For decades, the medical community has been battling this virus tooth and nail. And sure, we've made incredible strides with treatments to manage it, but those ultimate goals, foolproof prevention or a permanent cure, well, they've always remained just out of reach. But as you're going to see today, the landscape is shifting dramatically. We are standing on the precipice of a completely new era in virology. So I want to pose this bold question directly to you. क्या हम वाकई HIV को हरा सकते हैं? Can we finally beat HIV? Now, for a really long time, even asking that out loud felt a bit, overly optimistic. But based on the latest clinical data and the groundbreaking research we're exploring today, medical science is offering real, tangible hope to end this epidemic once and for all. We're no longer just talking about managing the virus. We're talking about stopping it before it even starts and completely clearing it from those who are the most vulnerable.
To understand exactly why this matters so much, we have to look at the human cost. 1,20,120,000. That is the number of newborns infected with HIV globally every single year. Despite all our modern advancements, over 100,000 babies begin their lives facing a lifelong battle with a chronic viral infection, and that's assuming they even have access to the daily medications needed to survive. These are incredibly high stakes, और यही vulnerable population आज की हमारी research के बिल्कुल center में है.
Okay, so here's a quick roadmap for today's explainer. 1. A new era of hope. 2. Lenacapavir, twice-yearly protection. 3. Ensuring global drug access. 4. Curing HIV in newborns. 5. The triple dose mechanism. And finally, 6. Clinical trials and the future.
Section 1. A new era of hope. Defeating HIV isn't just a simple one-step process. It requires a highly coordinated attack on two separate fronts. We need an ultimate shield to prevent the virus from spreading in the first place. And we also need the Holy Grail, a way to eradicate the virus completely from those who've already been exposed. And the amazing news here? We're seeing unprecedented breakthroughs on both of these fronts at the exact same time.
Section 2, lenacapavir and twice-yearly protection. Let's start with that first front of the war, prevention. Gilead Sciences recently introduced a brand new drug called lenacapavir. The journal Science actually named this drug its 2024 Breakthrough of the Year, and honestly, for very good reason. ये एक first-in-class capsid inhibitor है. That basically means it disrupts the HIV virus at multiple different stages of its life cycle, which is a huge step up from older drugs that only target one specific stage.
This really illustrates why this is such a massive game changer. For years, the gold standard for HIV prevention has been daily oral PrEP. And while it is effective, it relies entirely on the user taking a pill every single day without fail. Rose Goldi khane ki jhanjat literally leads to pill fatigue, missed doses, and unfortunately, heavy social stigma in many parts of the world. Now, compare that old reality with lenacapavir. Sal mein bus, those subcutaneous injections. It's highly discreet, it entirely removes the burden of daily adherence, and it provides 6 full months of continuous protection with just one shot.
Just look at the sheer staggering success of these clinical trials. In the Purpose 1 trial, which was conducted among adolescent girls and young women in Uganda and South Africa, there were 0. Let me repeat that for emphasis. 0 HIV infections among participants who received the injection. And in the Purpose 2 trial, there were only 2 infections, which represents a 96% reduction compared to background rates. हम यहाँ पर लगभग 100% efficacy देख रहे हैं. It is quite literally the ultimate shield.
Section 3. Ensuring global drug access. Now, of course, the ultimate shield is completely useless agar log iska kharcha hi na utha saken, right? The U.S. list price for lenacapavir is over $28,000 per year. For most of the world, that is completely out of reach. But here is the critical pivot. Gilead has rolled out a massive global access strategy, specifically targeting low and middle-income countries, ensuring this doesn't just remain some luxury treatment for the wealthy. Check out how fast this timeline is moving. In 2025, we got the initial approvals in the US and EU, but rather than waiting decades for generic licensing, Gilead finalized voluntary licensing agreements with generic manufacturers before the global regulatory submissions were even finished. This setup allows for an early rollout in 2026 for high-burden countries like Uganda and South Africa. And by 2027, high-quality generics will be available for approximately $40 per person per year across 120 countries. This speed na such में unprecedented है. To show you how fast this is translating to the real world, Uganda just secured an additional 60,000 doses of lenacapavir. They are rolling this out right now through facilities like the Lira Regional Referral Hospital. This totally bypasses the stigma and adherence issues that have historically held back the daily pills. Lag salme dobar clinicmet or ramse walk-in gersektehem walk out fully protected. Section 4. Curing HIV in newborns. So that's a massive win on the prevention front. But on 120,000 newborns का क्या, जो हर साल इस virus से exposed होते हैं. That brings us to our second front, the quest for an actual cure, specifically targeting this highly vulnerable population. Because if we can clear the virus immediately upon birth, we can literally spare these children a lifetime of antiretroviral therapy. This is where we look at some truly groundbreaking research that recently came out in the journal Nature Microbiology. Led by Dr. Jonas Sacha and Dr. Nancy Higwood at Oregon Health and Science University, researchers ran a study involving 55 infant macaques, जिनकी immune systems human से काफी मिलती-जुलती हैं. What they achieved is nothing short of extraordinary: total clearance of the virus. Section 5, the triple dose mechanism. So the really crucial point here is how they actually did it. उन्होंने सिर्फ किसी एक drug पर rely नहीं किया. They hypothesized that combining existing therapies with an experimental treatment right after exposure could stop the virus from ever establishing a hidden reservoir in the body. They administered this synergistic cocktail within a strict 72-hour window right after birth.
Let's break down this one-time three-part regimen. First, standard antiretroviral therapy, or ART, just to stop the virus from replicating. Second, broadly neutralizing antibodies, or BNAbs, which actively hunt and attack the virus. And third, this is the secret weapon, an experimental antibody called leronlimab. Is study में, the 8 macaques that received the specific triple combination remained completely HIV-free for up to a year after all treatment was stopped. No replicating virus, no trace of it. Igdam clear. Dr. Jonas Sacha explained the mechanism behind leronlimab perfectly. He said it is like you have kept fuel away from fire. Jaise aag se inden dur kar diya ho. You see, HIV desperately wants to use the CCR5 receptor on our cells as a doorway to get inside and infect them. Leronlimab acts like a padlock on that door. By blocking the CCR5 receptor, it completely starves the virus of its entry point, while those other two drugs hunt down and neutralize whatever virus is left floating around.
Section 6. Clinical Trials and the Future. This macaque study was so remarkably successful that researchers say it could head to human clinical trials for newborns almost immediately. But इसके implications adults के लिए भी massive हैं. If a synergistic combination of drugs can prevent that viral reservoir from forming in newborns, what can we do for adults, where the reservoir already exists? Well, that brings us directly to trials currently underway for adults, like the highly anticipated ORBIT trial. While those early newborn treatments block the reservoir from ever forming, the ORBIT trial and similar shock and kill strategies aim to tackle the virus where it's already hiding. Because HIV hides in a latent reservoir where normal drugs literally can't see it, these cutting-edge trials explore combinations of latency-reversing agents and advanced therapies to basically wake the virus up. Once it's shocked out of hiding, the immune system and antiviral drugs can step right in to kill it and flush out the reservoir completely. Which leaves us with this really powerful, lingering thought. Are we actually looking at the first HIV-free generation? When you take a step back and look at the full picture we've covered in this explainer today, a twice-yearly injection that offers near 100% protection, combined with a one-time triple-dose cure for newborns and radical new trials for adults, it is hard not to be incredibly optimistic. We are closer than ever to turning the page on the HIV epidemic for good. Thank you so much for joining me to explore this fascinating science. Keep asking questions. Dhanyavad, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.